Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Big Brother 16, episode 21. Now, let me explain why I didn't have my review up before. Alright guys, I meant to watch Big Brother at 10 o'clock last night, but I figured, you know what, I gotta get my True Blood review up, so I did that. I got my True Blood review up, because I know you guys really like my True Blood reviews. I know that, I really want to review the show for you guys, because I love the show. And Big Brother, I really meant to watch last night, but I didn't get a chance to. And, unfortunately, because of stupid PGA Tour, which, honestly, fuck the fucking PGA. I was watching it, and it was so boring. It's like, here's a golf ball, here comes the golf ball. It's like, nobody gives a fuck about the PGA Tour. I'm sorry if you do, but I don't care. Because, unfortunately, this was not the right night to do that, because this episode was by far the best episode of the season. I love this episode. I thought this episode was amazing. Very dramatic episode, definitely. I mean, there was no funny moments in this episode at all. Nothing in this episode. I mean, everything in this episode is really serious, and I really love that about this episode. I like the shifts in power in this episode, definitely. And especially, this was a big episode for Frankie. I mean, this episode really, after this episode, I hate Frankie. After this episode, I cannot stand Frankie. And by the way, guys, yes, I know my rant. I did say some things that I probably shouldn't have in my rant. I was just really pissed off, okay? This episode, though, kind of made me regain some people, This episode made me feel a little bit more confident about some of these people, so let's just get to it. So Nicole is very upset, understandably. She's crying, goes into the bathroom. She does not want to talk to anyone. She tells, Donnie follows her, and he tells her, she basically says she can't trust anyone right now, and she's just pissed off. She doesn't know who to listen to. And basically, Caleb is in the kitchen. I actually really like Caleb in this episode. I don't know what happened, but after Caleb, became HOH, he actually became a really nice guy. And in this episode, he was a really nice guy. He really was. He did what, the house wanted. He seems like he's going to be very loyal to Nicole now. Very loyal to, a lot of people. And I was very surprised by this. Nicole tells Christine that she played her, which she basically did. And Zach says that he's happy that he evicted Hayden, which was really rude. And Nicole then calls out Frankie in front of everyone, but he denies it. Now, Nicole is insulted and won't back down, because, of course, Frankie did play a large part in this, and Zach is believing Nicole, but he is going to stir things up. Now, Derek is essentially the reason the house flipped, and he finds it hilarious to watch them all go at each other. Honestly, yes, Derek made a good move here, I must say. Derek made a very good move. He fooled everyone. I mean, really good move from Derek, definitely. Even though I don't really like Derek, after this episode, I think Derek did make a good move. I think he's definitely one of the best players in the house. So Frankie and Caleb are all alone, and Caleb tells him that he's not taking everything that Nicole said as a lie. Caleb would rather not believe it, but he's going to be impartial. Frankie knows that he has to win this next HOH, or he's going to be in trouble. Which is true. He's going to be in trouble if he doesn't win this next HOH. So then we get to the HOH competition, which is basically like a tournament style, 2 at a time. So Cody and Nicole face off first, and they get an eye chart clue. They have to decide if the answer is 1 or 2. And basically, it goes on and on. Nicole and Christine end up winning the second HOH. Nicole and Christine both win HOH. So, honestly, Nicole and Christine, I thought this was a good move, because Nicole and Christine at this point do not like each other. They have no trust in each other whatsoever. Now, Nicole really doesn't know if she trusts Christine, and I don't blame Nicole after this. Honestly, after this episode, Nicole's a really good player now. She really is. I mean, she knows what she needs to do. She's going to make big moves now, and I really like that about Nicole now. I mean, I said that getting rid of Hayden is going to make Nicole stronger. It really has. It really has. Because she knows she has to make peace with Christine. She really wants to, but she doesn't really know if she trusts her right now. So Frankie walks in, tells Nicole that he was working with the other side, and had no other choice but to lie to save himself, which is not true. Frankie's working with himself, and Frankie speaks for himself and Christine, but she's not happy about it, and feels that he is ruining her game, and Frankie begs Nicole to believe him, but she doesn't know if she can. I don't blame Nicole about that, definitely. I don't blame her because, again, she was betrayed by everyone. And, Frankie did get rid of Hayden, so, I mean, yeah. So Zach then calls Nicole over so he can sort of, brown nose her a bit so he doesn't go up on the block. And basically to look out for himself. So Zach asks her what she's thinking, and she says she doesn't know, and Zach says he doesn't like how much Christine and Frankie are lying to her, Zach tells her he's pulling everything on the table. He tells her about the alliance he had, with the Detonators, and Nicole tells him that Frankie already came in and told her who to put up. So at this point, the Detonators is dead. It's dead. The Detonators is done, because Zach just told Nicole about it, which means that the Detonators is basically done for him. So Nicole is super tempted to work with Zach, but he has such a big mouth that it's really hard. And again, it's very hard to work with Zach, but she really wants to because Zach is one of the people that she might be able to actually trust, that she might have her full trust in. But she doesn't necessarily know if she should work with Zach. And honestly, in my opinion, I think she should try to work with Zach. I think it's the best thing to do. But working with Zach, I think, definitely is a good thing because it seems like Zach now has her back. One of the things we did not see in this episode is that Zach actually has a crush on Nicole this entire time. He actually wrote a poem to her and he said in front of the entire house. And, the only reason he got rid of Hayden was because he's like Nicole all this time and was jealous of Nicole and Hayden, and basically now wants to be in a showmance with her. So I thought that was definitely very interesting. They didn't show that on the episode, but I thought that was definitely interesting. And I do like Nicole and Zach working together. I do like that because the thing is, Zach, when he's not being, obnoxious, is a nice guy. He really is. I mean, he was nice to Nicole here. He really does care about her game and everything. And, we've seen that he really does want to work with her. I mean, he goes to see Caleb. Now, I thought he was going to tell Caleb, that, oh, Nicole said this, but that's not what he tells Caleb. He tells Caleb that Frankie told Nicole that she and Christine should put up Derek, Zach, Cody, and Caleb. Of course, Frankie said this, so Derek's pretty pissed at this, because, Frankie told Nicole this, and basically, Zach is basically going to be a mole for them, and I think, definitely working with Nicole is the right thing to do. It seems like at this point, Derek, Zach, Cody, and Caleb are working with Nicole. Because they all seem very close in this episode, and it seems like besides Christine and Frankie and Victoria, who does nothing, pretty much everyone in the house is going to be working with Nicole, which I think is a really good thing. Oh, there's also Donnie, who, honestly, Donnie's becoming sort of a floater, because he hasn't really done too much to change his game. So, honestly, he's kind of a floater. Also, there was no Team America in this episode. I guess the Team America mission isn't going to happen. I don't know, but, basically, Nicole and Derek are talking, and, basically, he really wants to get the numbers to get rid of Frankie, because obviously he's pissed at Frankie, and I don't blame Derek for this. He has every right to be pissed at Frankie for what he did. Frankie, is playing this game in a terrible way. He's basically being Andy. He did what Andy did. And just being Andy is not the strategy to win this game. That's not how you play this game. So Nicole and Derek are talking, and she says basically if she puts up Frankie and Zach goes competition, Frankie goes home, and that's the plan. That's what she wants to do. So it seems like Nicole really knows what she's doing here, and I really like that Nicole really does want to make a big move and get rid of Frankie. I really do love that. I love that she's been trying to do that since last week, and I love that she's continuing it now. So Nicole trusts Derek the most because he actually has really never done anything to make her not trust him. Of course, he did get rid of Hayden, but I think at this point, Derek is sincere. I think Derek seriously does want to work with Nicole, really does care about working with Nicole, and really feels like possibly working with Nicole might be his best strategy because he's not working with Christine. He's not working with Christine. There is not one thing in this episode that makes me think that they are still working with Christine. Because Christine, nothing with her in this episode. Barely anything. We didn't really see what her talk of game was. And honestly, I'm happy about that. Because honestly, with Christine, the thing with Christine is I don't think Christine is as smart as Nicole is. Nicole knows what she's doing, definitely. Nicole's been HOH 3 times. She knows what she's doing. So Nicole calls Caleb in, and Caleb, surprisingly, I was very surprised of how loyal Caleb was to Nicole. He says he gets everything. He wants to go up against Frankie because, he thinks that if he goes up against Frankie, that Frankie has the numbers to, that Caleb has the numbers to go home. To stay, basically. So it's time for the nomination ceremony, and Christine nominates Donnie and Zach, and Nicole nominates Caleb and Frankie. And at this point, you know, when Nicole says this nomination ceremony is adjourned, Zach is pissed off at Frankie, you know. He calls Christine and Frankie liars, and I'm not at all upset about that. I'm not at all upset about that, because they deserve it. They really do. You know, because Christine lied to Zach because she said that she would not come after Zach. You know, she said that to him. She said that she would never come after him, and she did. And Frankie's like, why the hell are you upset at me? Because you kind of tried to campaign to get him out when you were HOH a couple weeks ago. Like, seriously, Frankie is that stupid. When Amber left this house, that was when Frankie was HOH. That week, if you remember, he wanted to put up Zach. He wanted to put up Zach for, you know, backdoor Zach. But, of course, you know, Zach, of course, he has all the reason to be furious at Frankie. I like that he's upset at Frankie, because, again, I don't like Frankie. I really don't. I don't think he's playing a good game. Again, nothing against him personally, but I just don't like the way he's playing a game. He's not playing the game right, in my opinion. Now, Christine is actually really impressed with Nicole about her nominations of Frankie and Caleb. So, Nicole and Christine might actually be reconnecting, I'm thinking. That might be what's going on here. So Zach is refusing to speak to Frankie and Christine. You know, he wants nothing to do with them because they're basically dead to him. And he just, every time he's with Frankie now, he's getting into a fight. And I don't blame him. Really, I don't. So Frankie is pretty confident, though, that he and Caleb are going to win because Caleb is strong. And, you know, Caleb's very strong. He could win a competition before. So Frankie is alone with Zach. Sorry, I'm getting text messages here. Frankie is alone with Zach, and he tries to speak to him, and Zach will not listen to him. He's done with him. He's just done. He does not want anything to do with him at this point, and, I like that Zach really doesn't want anything to do with Frankie. I do like that. I think it's good that, you know, Zach doesn't want anything to do with Frankie. I think that's definitely a very good thing. Now, the best part of this episode, though, is when we get to the Battle of the Block. This I loved, when we get to the Battle of the Block. Now, the Battle of the Block competition was like a football-themed competition, basically like, World Series, sort of, not World Series, but like, the Thursday Night Football on CBS, so that's why they decided to do that. And I really like what happened in this next scene. Basically, Frankie and Caleb, they're on the field, and Frankie is guessing that Caleb is going, you know, because Caleb's giving Frankie kind of like an evil eye. He's giving the stare. He's not even looking at him. So Frankie's basically like, yeah, he's gonna throw it. So Frankie does whatever he can to get Caleb not to throw it. But of course, I really love what Caleb said to him, because this is absolutely true. He said to Frankie, look, here's what happened. It's real simple, Frankie. You got rid of Amber. You backdoored Amber. You betrayed my trust and loyalty. You deserve to do this competition by yourself. And yes, I agree with Caleb. After all that Frankie has done, after everyone that he has made upset, Frankie deserves to do this by himself. I completely agree with Caleb there. I really like that Caleb really was like that. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to throw a Battle of the Block competition. It really does. Especially the fact that he knows he could be in risk of leaving. He doesn't give a shit because he wants Frankie gone. And, you know, he just wants Frankie gone. And, of course, now the one thing that I did not like in the scene was Frankie's edit. They edited Frankie in this next scene to be like a hero. They did. They edited him to be a hero. And please, I hate it when CBS edits people like this. I really hate it. Because Frankie right now is just, like, betraying everyone, so why the hell would you write Frankie as a hero? I don't like that they're doing that at all. So, I mean, Caleb's sitting there, he's sitting there because he really feels that Frankie deserves it, and I feel he does deserve it as well. And then the Battle of the Block starts. Zach and Donnie are doing well and are halfway through the competition. And, you know, Zach, I really like Zach when Caleb was, you know, saying who he betrayed. And, you know, Caleb even told, Frankie that eventually he's going to betray Zach. He's going to betray Nicole. He's going to betray, you know, those people that he thinks that, you know, that people think are loyal to him, you know, that he's been loyal to, he's going to betray. And Zach's going to be the first one. And, you know, I love that Zach's like, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? I mean, that was hilarious when Zach was like that, because it's like, Zach is at his wart's end with Frankie, and I don't blame him, really. I really don't. But basically, they're in the battle block competition. Frankie's about to, Frankie is actually doing really well, surprisingly. I'm like, no, why does Frankie have to do well? And unfortunately, Frankie ends up winning the battle of the block. Okay, here's what I feel about this. Frankie winning the battle of the block, worst case scenario, because not only is Nicole now dethroned as HOH, which is horrible, because Nicole is probably the smartest person in the house right now, Christine is now the permanent HOH, and Christine wants to get rid of who? Zach. Zach is not the person to get rid of. Zach is not the person to get rid of right now. Zach is playing a very good, tactful game. Zach is, everyone's friend in the house now. Everyone's really good friends with Zach, actually, and I trust Zach very much now. And then guess what Frankie decides to do? Frankie does probably the stupidest thing. He says, well, now that the house knows that, now that I'm only safe for 1 week, it's time to reveal my secret. That he's Ariana Grande's sister. Yeah, everyone kind of knows that. It's pretty obvious. And honestly, all that is going to do is it's going to make these house guests trust you not less. Like, think about what happened when Alyssa revealed last year that she was Rachel Riley's sister. Now, that was well done. The way she hid it for the first 2 weeks was fine. Frankie has hid this for too long. Derek even told the house guest that he's a cop. Derek even told the house guest that, so I don't know why Frankie couldn't have just told him. It's not that big of a thing. And of course, if they do find out about this, they're going to be pissed off, definitely, because he held it in for so long. We're almost at the halfway point of the game, so, we're at the halfway point of the game now, so now, of course, it's time to start doing that, but the thing is with Frankie, that he's doing this at a terrible time. He definitely is. He's not being targeted now. Why does he have to tell the house guest this? This is not the way to save yourself. The way to save yourself is to just lay low. That's how you save yourself, is to lay low and not stir up any trouble, because you're stirring people's pots right now. You really are. You're stirring the pot of people, and you really need to stop doing that. I mean, you played a very large hand in many of the evictions. You've, decided, you voted out, you got rid of Amber, you got rid of Hayden, you got rid of Jocasta, you got rid of so many people. And yes, people could say, yes, it's Derek that's doing it, which I think Derek is actually very smart for doing that, because Derek is playing a very good game. Yes, he's evicting big people, but yes, he's evicting major players and, really big players, and yes, he had a hand at, getting rid of Hayden, but the way he did was very good, because now he's actually very good allies with Nicole, and Nicole is never going to suspect it. So I like the way that Derek is playing, definitely. But as far as Frankie goes, Frankie really, he has things very backwards, really he does. Frankie is definitely what I would call a backwards thinker, definitely. He's a very backwards thinker. He does not know what he's doing. He really does not. He does not know what game he's playing, and that's what's going on. Now, as far as Christine, who is Christine going to target here? Now, I'm thinking that, I don't know who's going to win POV, but it's now Donnie and Zach. Now, I don't want either of them to leave. The only thing that she could do, and I really hope she does not do this, is backdoor Nicole. I don't think she's going to do that. I don't think backdooring Nicole is something she's going to do now, because it seems like Nicole and Christine have made amends, and, I kind of like Christine this episode. I didn't think Christine was that bad in this episode, honestly. I thought Christine, I was very surprised at how, impressed Christine was with Nicole's nominations. I was surprised by that, because I'm thinking now, Nicole, I agree that she's probably the smartest player in the game right now, because she really wants to make those big decisions and those big moves, definitely. I really like that she's doing that. Now, as far as who she's gonna, put up, if, say, Donnie wins POV, I'm thinking Victoria will go home. I'm thinking whoever wins POV is gonna be Victoria, and definitely, on the live feeds, I don't watch live feeds, but I know this because I follow Big Brother Twitter account. Zach is actually trying to convince people that Victoria should go home. And I agree with Zach, definitely, that Victoria, definitely, she hasn't done shit in the house, and it's time to get rid of her. Definitely floaters. The thing is, if you want to keep a floater around, that's a good thing. Victoria almost won a Battle of the Block competition. Victoria almost won the HOH competition this time around. She almost did. She was this close. The final two was actually, when it was between Nicole and Victoria, it was Nicole and Victoria. I was surprised that Victoria actually did really well in the HOH competition. That might be the first time she actually does really well. That might be the first time. Because she did really well in the competition, actually. So I'm thinking, if you want to get rid of Victoria, now's the time. I don't care to get rid of Victoria. She honestly is just there to basically be slutty. Basically, that's why she's there. She's there to be kind of like, I don't like to say the word slut, but she kind of is. You know, she hasn't really done anything in the house, and honestly, if you want to get rid of Victoria, now's the time. But that's it for my review of this episode. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, I love this episode. Love the way this episode worked out. What is going to happen now? How are the house guests going to react when Frankie tells them the truth? I really don't think it's going to be a good reaction at all. Who is going to win the POV? Who is Christine going to put up as a replacement nominee? Are you upset that Christine is HOH? I kind of am, because I don't really think Christine is as smart as Nicole. I do think that Nicole and Christine might end up working together. It seems like at this point it's the entire house versus Frankie. That's what it seems like. It seems like it's the entire house versus Frankie, and that's the way it should be. But also, were you surprised at the maturity in Caleb? I was surprised by what Caleb did. Again, it took a lot of balls to do that, and Caleb just, I gotta give applause to him, because he was fantastic when he did that. I thought that was a great decision that he made, definitely. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in my next video, which will be my review for The Leftovers. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.